town board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Stefan Krakauer, Fifth Ward.
Ann Church, Sixth Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, Attorney for the town.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Councilman Sifon will be joining us momentarily. Welcome, everybody. On tonight's agenda, number 1 will be a public hearing on comprehensive plan update. 2 will be a public hearing on town code amendment filming and photography, which will be pulled. We still have some work to do on that. And we'll come back with a new public hearing, as we're not sure if there'll be major or minor changes on that one. 3 is a public hearing for special districts. 4 is being pulled. 5 is set a date for a public hearing for the budget 2022. 6 is appoint wastewater position of Stephen Turner, sewer maintenance mechanic. 7, consent of lead agency, Wiltsey Estates. 8, accept the certificates of attendance. With that,
There's SCs, I left them.
I got SC1, abolish the position of animal control officer. SC2, authorize an agreement with Dutchess County SPCA. SC3, accept the map plan report for the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area number 2. SC4, accept the Arthur May School redevelopment future dedication of water line to the town's Fulton Avenue.
I'm sorry, Jay, you said you were pulling 4?
Yes. Yep.
And 2.
1 and 2 we're gonna.
Yeah, 2 will be out, because I think some of the changes on 2
Okay.
will be significant, so we're going to have to go back to that.
Gotcha.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 1 on the comprehensive plan update.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss the comprehensive plan? If you're online, please *6, raise your hand, and we'll unmute you. Felicia, anybody out there?
Steve, did you want
Oh,
to speak?
Mary
or-
Beth Rubenstein
Oh, Mary
wants
Beth,
to-
go ahead.
You can unmute yourself, Mary Beth, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I was a member of the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, and it was my honor to be on that committee. And I just wanted to say that I think it was a very thorough process. We reached out for public input. We spoke to all of the service providers, the school districts, fire, water, all of those types of systems. We looked at a natural resources inventory, and we spoke to environmental experts, and I think we had really great consultants to help us put it all together. And they were very thorough and collaborative. And I think it's a really solid plan that lays out a great vision for the next 10 years or so for the town, and I hope you'll agree. And I know that it's only as good as its implementation, but I think it's a great starting point. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. You have anything else?
I did receive comments from Doreen Tignanelli, which I'll put in the record. I just wanted to mention that as well, and I think all the board got those comments. So I don't need
Thank
to
you.
read it out loud at the moment, but,
Okay, yeah, I read them today.
yep.
You passed them on, they went to planning also, right?
Mike, did you get Doreen's comments? I think you did.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we received Doreen's comments this afternoon, did read through them. They're all items that, for the most part, that make some sense. A lot of it has to do, as Mary Beth said, with implementation, right? I mean, a lot of what the work continues after this plan is adopted, and so we obviously have to do as good a job with that as we did so far. But I don't think there was anything in those comments that warrant a change in the draft. You also just in your packets have a recommendation from the county planning department that notes it's a matter of local concern. They too provided a number of comments. Many of them we've actually addressed in the plan. and a lot of them are also, kind of ideas about as we think about implementation. So I think those were helpful. And then finally, there's a recommendation from the planning board, a positive recommendation from the planning board. We included some of the comments that we got from a couple of the members, but they are also, supportive of adoption at this point. And we look forward to answering any questions that you have.
We have anybody else out there? That'd like to make a comment on the master plan? No? If not, a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie by resolution 84-6 of 2021 acknowledged receipt of the final draft comprehensive plan update prepared by the town of Poughkeepsie Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, CPRC, pursuant to New York State Town Law 272A. And whereas through aforementioned resolution, the town board initiated its review of the draft comprehensive plan and a draft full environmental assessment form prepared by the town consultant by declaring its intent to be lead agency for purposes of the environmental review of this matter pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and pursuant to New York State Town Law 272A by scheduling a public hearing, directing the public notice of the public hearing to be provided by referring the draft comprehensive plan update and the draft FEAF to the town planning board and to the Dutchess County Department of Plan and Development for further review and recommendations. And whereas in addition to the community outreach and the intergovernmental collaboration reflected in the CPRC draft comprehensive plan update, public comments have been invited, and the draft comprehensive plan update and draft FEAF have been available for review in the town clerk's office at the Poughkeepsie Public Library, Boardman Road branch, and online on the town website. And whereas legal notice of the public hearing on a draft comprehensive plan update was posted by the town clerk on August 12, 2021, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on August 16, 2021. And whereas on September 1st, 2021, September 29th, 2021, and October 6, 2021, a public hearing on a draft comprehensive plan update was held at regularly scheduled meetings of the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, and all who wish comment were heard. And whereas on September 1st, 2021, the town board received a response attached from the Dutchess County Department of Plan and Development indicating that there is a matter of local concern and providing comments. And whereas on September 27, 2021, the town board received a response attached from the town planning conveying a positive recommendation to the town board regarding adoption of the comprehensive plan update. Now therefore be it resolved that, 1, the town board as lead agency notes that adoption of the comprehensive plan update is a type 1 action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. And 2, the town board as lead agency has determined that the proposed action will not have a significant adverse environmental impact, and therefore the draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. And it hereby adopts the attached negative declaration dated October 6, 2021. And pursuant to New York State Town Law 272A, the town board hereby adopts the comprehensive plan update and directs that it be filed in the office of the town clerk and the Dutchess County Department of Plan and Development. And 4, the town board thanks the CPRC, town staff, consultants, and many members of the community who provided input and contributed to the preparation of this important document over the last 3 years. So moved.
Second.
Is there a motion and second? Any more questions or comments on this?
I'd like to mention a little bit about the committee. Do you want me to do that after the vote?
Yeah, after the vote.
Okay.
Anybody any comments on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Bill?
Okay. I've been on the town board for a while now, and this is the first time that I've seen something this significant, and I want to make sure I make a comment to the public. 9 people spent 3 years working on this plan. We had a meeting a month. We did site visits. We got in a van and drove around the town so everybody could have an idea of the pictures, what we were actually dealing with. There was debate. Nobody agreed to everything, And it was worked very, very well. I have to compliment Mike Welty and our staff. I can be a handful at times, and I was a handful. And Nelson Pope and Van Voorhees, when we got the first draft plan, I don't know how much time I spent with them, but we went through it line by line, by word, to make sure it was what it was supposed to be. We have, the town board has got certificates of appreciations, certificates to all of the people that were on the committees, and we'll make sure that you get them. And I want to thank them publicly. Very rarely do we hear people who serve on our planning board for 12 years or on our zoning board get thanked for it. In this case, these people worked a lot. And I think the plan they've come up is first rate and is a good guide for the town going into the next decade. And I want to thank every one of them individually, and thank you. And on behalf of the town board,
Bill,
we'll make sure you get your certificates.
Bill agreed. It's a very thorough process, and I thank everybody that helped this process going along, the time and the effort put in and working with consultants. I think he came out with a great product. Anybody, anything else? Nope. Number 2 is going to be pulled at this time. We have some further.
Do you want to open the public hearing
No.
in case there is some, I
No,
think you
because-
have to?
No, we're going back and starting from scratch. So, do we have to open it, Tim?
I don't think there'll be anybody here.
You don't have to open it, but if you don't open it, then you really can't make modifications to
No, we're
what's
going to
here.
have to start because there's too many
Fine.
major changes on
Fine.
it to start and to
Fine.
bring it out and bring it back because
That's
some of the
fine.
changes are, I think, are significant that we're going to have to re-advertise it anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
pardon me.
Okay?
Okay.
Number 3 is a public hearing on special districts. Make a motion to open public hearing number 3. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss public hearing number 3 on special districts? Anybody out there, please?
Anybody, Tim?
Resolution number 3 is on special districts concerning water districts, sewer districts, drainage districts in the town. Is there anybody here to discuss that? If not, motion to close public hearing number 3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bill?
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 6th day of October 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby adopt the special district assessment rule which concerns the water districts, sewer districts, and drainage districts of the town of Poughkeepsie. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on September 8th, 2021, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on September 17th, 2021. So moved.
Second.
Been motion and second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our public hearings. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
If anybody would like to discuss any item on the agenda, this is the time to speak, just for any item that is on the agenda, and please limit your time to 3 minutes. Is there anybody out there that'd like to discuss any agenda items? Ma'am, come on up.
My name is Barbara Durand. My husband is Robert Durand. He's probably been before this board many times. Anyway, and I'd like to thank my councilwoman as well as Carlos and for the time they've spent talking with me on the phone. This evening, my husband and I were in a very serious automobile accident near the intersection of Spackenkill Road and Cedar Valley Road.
Mrs. Duran, is this in relation to an item on the agenda?
I don't,
No.
No,
oh, it's not?
no. we'll
Will there be an opportunity?
Yes.
for-
Yeah, at the end,
At the
yeah.
end.
At the end? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sorry, I don't.
No, that's okay.
I don't-
No, that's okay. No, no problem at all.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak on an agenda item? I don't see anybody.
No? No, motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 4 is being pulled. Number 5,
Be resolved pursuant to and in accordance with the provisions of Section 106 of the Town Law and other applicable provisions of law, the tentative statement of established expenditures and revenues heretofore submitted by the supervisor is adopted as a preliminary budget of the Town of Poughkeepsie for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, and such preliminary budget is on file in the Town Clerk's office of the Town of Poughkeepsie for public inspection. And be it further resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 20th day of October, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Archive Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as the date, time, and place of the public hearing on the preliminary budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, at which time all interested parties will have the opportunity to be heard, which preliminary budget was approved by this board and filed with the Town Clerk, and be it further resolved that the Town Clerk is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to advertise said public hearing in the Poughkeepsie Journal no less than 5 days prior to the public hearing, and to post same on the Town Clerk's bulletin board. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. So moved.
Second.
the motion is second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Stephen Turner to the position of full-time sewer maintenance mechanic with the Town of Poughkeepsie Sewer Department at the grade 6, step 1 salary of $22.56.64 per hour, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law, and subject to the employee obtaining their Class B CDL license within 6 months of appointment, effective October 19th, 2021. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Welcome aboard.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby consent to the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board acting as the seeker lead agency. Notice of intent paperwork in its entirety can be found in the Town Clerk's office for the project known as Winslet Estates, Lot Number 19 subdivision, location of which can be found on the Planning Department's memo attached hereto, dated September 28th, 2021. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby accept the certificates of attendance for Benedetto Paganelli and Carl Whitehead for webinar training presented by Dutchess County Federation entitled Land Use Issues for Legalized Adult Use Cannabis and Prospectus for Massachusetts, copies of which are attached. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit: 1, personnel abolish animal control officer position. 2, authorize supervisor to sign agreement with the DCSPCA, accept map plan and report for the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area Number 2, except from legal, Arthur May School redevelopment, future dedication of water line to the town's Fulton Avenue. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, an item may be removed from this list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution Special Consent Number 1. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby abolish the vacant civil service position of Animal Control Officer effective immediately. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor is authorized to file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this abolishment. So moved.
Second.
And a motion and second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, are we sure this is a good idea? I mean, we have a large town, and I thought
Well,
the animal control was a fairly busy position.
At this time, we don't have an animal control officer.
I realize that.
And at the end of the year, Dutchess County SPCA would not be taking our animals anymore unless they do the whole job. So this is an agreement for the end of the year. We can
So
always,
this is just to the end of the year.
let me finish. This is agreement until the end. This can be extended. We have to abolish the position being it's vacant prior to doing this. We could put a position back at any time we want. This is just to cover us now because we have nobody right now. We need somebody. And we put this in place, like any other contract, 60, 90 days, we can take it back out. But this is a start to be, whereas in Dutchess County SPCA has 2 full-time officers and a part-time officers, and they also will be working weekends, which we don't currently have now at all.
Okay.
Be it resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized.
Did anybody vote?
No.
We didn't vote on this
No.
one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Nay. Motion passes 4-2.
Okay, be it resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the supervisor to sign a dog control and housing agreement with the Dutchess County SPCA for the period through December 31st, 2021, and substantially inform annexed, which agreement shall provide for both animal control and housing, and which shall supersede the current agreement for housing. And be it further resolved, the town board further finds that it would not be in the best interest of the town to solicit alternative proposals or quotations for such service, and be it further resolved, the town board finds this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 5-1.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor and his designees to accept the map plan and report for the establishment of the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area Number 2 and to thereafter proceed after consultation with the town board counsel Douglas Goodfriend, the attorney for the town sewer department, and development director Wealthy. So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, subject to the water improvement policies of Dutchess County Department of Behavioral and Community Health, hereby authorize the supervisor or his designee to, in the future, accept for dedication a water line and other bonded, inspected, insured, and properly titled and constructed water improvements for the connection of the Arthur S. May School redevelopment project to the town's Fulton Avenue water main, to be effective on terms acceptable to the supervisor, the town engineering and water departments, and the attorney of the town. And be further resolved that no secret review is required because the Arthur S. May project has been subject to a full secret review. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Any questions on this one? This water line is going to be an extended water line. It's going to go along College View Towers, which will give us a better circulation and a better flow, and it'll keep the quality of the water better going forward.
Yeah, they were having trouble with the tower, with water pressure on there before. It had to do with the diameter of the pipe and the amount to be fed into the system.
And this is
And this
al-
is gonna correct all of that.
And also it'll stop a dead end.
Yeah.
So the water won't just sit there, it circulates the water better, so we'll
Yes.
have a better quality of water there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our town board agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item at all.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Deronda?
Thank you. I've taken copious number of photos, which I haven't been able to get printed this evening. And were you able to?
Yes.
Barbara,
print out the-
can you talk right into the microphone?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I took a copious number of photographs of the intersection, Cedar Valley Road and Spackenkill Road. And did you have a
Yep.
chance?
Yes, I have.
Okay. My husband and I were seriously injured, and when on this night it was cloudy, there was no moon, pitch black, we attempted to make a left-hand turn on the road. And it is not a 90-degree turn, it is an acute angle, in other words, less than 90 degrees. My photographs also show that as well. And I wanted to speak with the neighbors because, as I had told you, and I says, if we ended up going onto the shoulder of road, and then the car started to go downward, and we ended up hitting a clump of trees. And surprisingly, the trees weren't this, okay, they were smaller diameter trees, and they're still laying there. The first house that we would have been in their yard, maybe in their basement, had the trees not stopped us. He wasn't home, but I went to 190 Cedar Valley Road, and the gentleman who lives in that house for the past 50 years, his name is Mr. Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Couse, C-O-U-S-E. He's lived there 50 years, he's a volunteer fireman, and he told me he pulled me out of the car. He heard the noise, and I says, I invited him to come tonight, and he says, I've got commitments tonight. And I says, have there ever been any other accidents? Okay, he says, I can't give you an exact amount. He says, but within the, nothing less than 20. And he says, I myself, my car was also hit. As I was coming down Spackenkill Road, stopped to make a turn, and I got rear-ended. What is needed there is a guardrail on the east side, which we could sketch out for you in terms of the length, and what is needed is a light pole. There are 4 or 5 light poles, and most of them are aggregated down by St. Martin de Porres Church, naturally, because they also have a parochial school there. And most big stretch on Cedar Valley Road doesn't have any light poles. They have 4, maybe 5 at the most, but as I said, they're more or less grouped down by the church. And that is a dangerous intersection. I was in intensive care. I'd be glad to show you the plastic surgery scars that I permanently have. Fractured vertebrae, torn tendons. My husband, fracture here, fracture in vertebrae. My husband's an extremely conservative driver. He was not speeding. And I object very much. At some point in time, some policemen showed up, and as my husband's getting into one ambulance, I'm being put in another ambulance. My husband's given a speeding ticket. Really makes me irate, since there was no policeman there at the time of this accident. And I've got the phone number here for Mr. Brian Couse. He'd be glad to talk to anyone who calls. It's 845-826-0594. His house is easy to spot. As you come down Spackenkill, you make a left-hand turn on a Cedar Valley Road. It's got a for sale sign on it. And we talked about it. He says, yes, a guardrail is needed there, and a light pole is needed on the west side of Cedar Valley, just as you come in, so you light that intersection so you can see where the right side of the road is, and also, to realize that you're making an acute angled turn. Given that many accidents, and given the fact that I went over to the police department, and there was another lady, who had come over. She listened to me, and she says, it's interesting you tell me about this. This is just only a few weeks ago. She says, my brother has a tow truck business. She says, just yesterday, my brother was called over there. There was an accident. The frequency of this is intolerable. And I, out of concern for anybody else, went to the police department, spoke with Officer Tompkins. He said, it's not our responsibility, it's New York State Department of Transportation's responsibility. Go over there and talk. Well, I found the head person over there to talk to. And he says, no, it's not. He says, we take care of Route 84, 684, big highways. He says that it's the responsibility in the jurisdictions of the respective towns, even though Spackenkill Road might be a state highway. He says for the smaller things like that, he says it's the town. So I'm requesting that whatever has to be done, I don't know how, whether Central Hudson will do it out of gratis or whether the town has to pay. We need this to save some people's life, because my husband and I were nearly killed.
Mrs. Durant,
yeah.
we'll go out and look at it. I mean, they are correct. It's a state road. Certain things the state would make changes to. If it's the lights on the road, that is something that the town looks into. We do the street lights. The road itself is a state road, so if there's a correction with the state, we
Actually,
can talk to them too, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Baisley, actually, the pole needs to be installed on Cedar Valley Road, not Spackenkill Kill Road.
And that would be the town, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out the first day and we looked on the corner when you called,
Yeah.
where it was, and one light looks
It-
like it's too far away from the corner anyway.
It would be on the west side of Cedar Valley Road, right just as you get in, enough to project enough light over the road, actually a high intensity. And if some other signs, y'all may know what kind, a blinking yellow light, or a yellow sign or something, caution, dangerous turn, something to alert the drivers coming down Spackenkill who make a left-hand turn down there. I think that's important.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there is a light on the east side of that intersection, but it's currently not working. And I've already handed the pole number off to Highway.
I've got
And
a-
they've told me that they contacted Central Hudson, so we're just waiting for Central Hudson to repair that one.
Well, and I've got a photograph here. I'd be glad to show it to you. The pole that I'm thinking of it's just a telephone pole. It's not a light
It's
pole.
on the west side, it's on the opposite side of the street.
It's a telephone pole. It's not a light pole. I'll show you the photograph.
Yeah.
I've got it here on my camera.
Okay, yeah, and I've got pictures too, so we'll compare.
Okay. All
We'll go
right.
out there and we'll look into it and see what changes can be made.
Okay. But and when he told me about these numbers, I says, "Wow, that's too much. It's unacceptable." Okay.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you recall the date of your accident?
Could you speak louder, sir?
Pardon me. Do you recall the date of your accident?
That morning, I think it was the 23rd or the 25th. It was a Tuesday. It was after 10 o'clock at night. We had appeared. I don't know if it was in this room, but we appealed our taxes because of the damage to our house, and we appealed the assessment. So it was that day, and that evening we went down to Village of Wappingers, cut grass. I was too darn tired to cook, so I says, let's go to Price Chopper, get a meal, come home, and as we were coming down Spackenkill, we made that left-hand turn.
Was it this year?
Yes,
Yeah.
May.
And we'll get the date.
Okay. All right. And one small request too. I was told, well, I could talk along about this other problem which I've shared with Mr. Carlos and with Ann, but I'm not going to go into this detail. I was issued, my husband was issued a ticket that night for he accused my husband of speeding. The second thing was that due to extenuating circumstances, we had to use a car to be able to get. I'm talking more than 3 minutes. Tell me to shut up if okay. There are young policemen who are absolutely zealots in terms of wanting to give out tickets for the littlest things. They can't understand. I have met policemen in Dutchess County before. You explain something, okay, just be careful, or, I understand. But giving tickets. And I went to the other day to the Justice Court over there, and I was told by very nice, very polite, respectful young rookie, Officer Doyle. He told me, it's been such a long time, I haven't gotten anything about appearing in court for these tickets, because I was told by Attorney Ackerman to plead not guilty. And he says, they've just forgotten those, they haven't. So I don't know if I tore it up or what. And then we got a letter. We had to appear in court on one date, and I misplaced that letter. So I went over to the Crown Court to find out when that date is. I was really panicking, thinking it was in October, so I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday. And I says, I don't know if I tore up the tickets or what. I says, can I have a copy of tickets? Oh, no, it's $1. $1 for every ticket. And I says, why? I says, you know, it's all on a computer. 8.5, 11 sheets, a ream of 8.5 and 11 paper probably costs maybe penny, 10 cents, okay? Can't you just print that out? They're getting paid to be there 8 hours, okay? Why, and let the burden of just the terms of time, disputing here, maybe having to hire an attorney, why do we have to charge people $1 to get a copy of their ticket, which, by the way, are hardly readable because they're printed out in the car. Okay? I wish y'all would change that. Because the perception of the people who are impacted by these zealot young policemen is that this is a whole money-making scheme. You know, and in light of this, the environment right now, you know, with Black Lives Matter and changing attitudes, we don't want that. What needs to be altered is the perception of the population about policemen. Instead of looking at them as their adversaries, we need to look upon them as helpers, people you can turn to. For example, my husband used the police department and adult protective services to harass us. And that's another long story, which I could spend a half an hour about, which Councilman Shershin and Councilman Carlos listened to, and let me tell them about it. And we need to change the attitude of the population, and the police force needs to be counseled. Chief Kevin is great. Officer Doyle is great. Officer Fasano is great. But I could tell you about some.
If I could just say one thing about the officers. There are some officers that I think are zealous in their efforts in writing tickets, but they're in the traffic division. And really what their focus is isn't writing tickets, but it's safety. I've spoken to those officers before. When somebody dies or is badly injured in an auto accident, those are the officers that are there at the scene. They see those situations. So they're not just writing tickets as a revenue stream for the town. They're writing, those officers, the men and women that do that, my impression when I've seen them is that they do it because they have a genuine concern about public safety and about making sure that people are following the rules of the road so that everybody is safe there. So I think if you want to make a general statement about them, it is not that they're writing tickets to generate revenue. It's they're doing their jobs, and their jobs are to keep people safe. And I do think that that's what their focus is. So.
Well, in my situation, that was not the case.
Okay, it may not be the case every time, but like I said, I think the general statement about those officers is that that's the job that they have to do, and part of one of the officers said to me the reason why they take it so seriously is because they're the ones that see the accidents and the fatalities, and they're there at the scenes of those accidents, so it's personal to them, and they do the best that they can to try to keep people safe on the road. So.
Well, in my case, nothing involving speeding or any kind of traffic thing like that. I went to the police station one night because I had locked my keys in the car at the credit union at closing time. So I called the 911. They sent Officer Doyle over. Wonderful person. He couldn't break into a car if his life depended on it. So what he did is he drove me home.
That's
okay?
a good thing.
And then when we got home, I didn't have any other car. But we did have this car that we drove from Pennsylvania, because the other car that we also drove back from Pennsylvania, the good car, turn off the ignition, you couldn't get it. Kept having to jump it. I would later learn that my alternator was bad. So here it is. It's like 9 o'clock. My husband and I go over to the dollar store trying to get an implement that we could probably Jimmy, the silver van, door open. Couldn't work. So it's November, I think. Cold as heck. Really cold. I says, Bob, you wait here. The keys were in the ignition in the locked car. I says, I'll drive over to the police station and ask them if they could send another policeman to help us. The gentleman at the desk said, 15 minutes, they'll be coming in and retiring the shift. He says, wait here. I says, I can't leave my husband out in the cold. He's got a health issue. I said, so the parking lot at the police station it's almost like daylight at night. It's so well lit. And I'm stressed from this situation now, cold, and I drive over and I just pull out onto the road, and this police car passes me. Then this police car turns around, follows me into the parking lot of the IBM Credit Union, and she gives me a ticket. She says, you're driving without your lights on. I says, it's totally light. I'm less than a quarter of a mile away. Gives me a ticket. Oh, she says, your red van, it doesn't either have a registration or it's not inspected or something like that. And I says, yeah, I already got a ticket from Officer Marinelli for that, which, I got an address because we brought it into from Pennsylvania. And,
There, Mrs. Durante.
but anyway, I know time is up. But this is an example of what I'm talking about in terms of zealot ticket writing for not traffic violations, which rightfully so. In fact, when I've seen guys speeding or zigzagging, I have called 911 and I have reported them. In fact, at one time, my husband and I followed him all the way over to Newburgh because he was on my street and he was really speeding, trying to get away. And I thought this guy's maybe dealing drugs or delivering drugs to someone on my street on Hornbeck Ridge. Okay? So, yes, I believe in police enforcement, of the laws.
Oh, can anyone hear me on the
That's it.
phone?
Where are you?
From,
I'm sorry, this is Jason. I'm sorry to interrupt your story. This is Jason Evans. I'm in Red Oaks Mill, and I'm a homeowner. I was just holding on just to ask a couple of questions on some locates in the street. I'm sorry, I was just waiting to get a word in,
yeah,
some paint on the street.
we'll be with you in 1 second.
Okay, thank you,
All
guys.
right, that's all I have to
All
say.
right, thank you,
Okay.
Mrs. Durante.
Okay.
All right. Now, David, now it's your turn. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, okay, this is Jason. I live over in Red Oaks, on like the Carmen and Kinley Drive area there, and I saw some locates. I was just curious. I saw the letter in the mail. I've been on the line the whole time. I was just curious to know what's going on in terms of plans. Those are white, and then it looks like water was marked out as well.
That's
I was just
probably for the
curious.
new signs on Kinry. You said you live on Kinry Road?
Kinley, yep, Kinley and Carmen actually, right at the intersection.
They're getting ready to put up signs for schools.
School zone signs there. If the road's marked out, they
Oh,
mark.
cool.
Yeah, they mark those out
Okay.
for the roads,
I was
yes.
just curious.
Yeah. Just do them so we don't hit a water line putting a sign in.
Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, cool. That was it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Anybody else? No? If not, a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody have a great evening. Oh, wait, before we go,